Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Press Box. It's hour two. I'm Timmy,
And I'm Steven.
and we're here to answer the call. It is the NFL side of things on a Monday. Woo! And we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot.
Let's just get into it. It's gonna be fun.
Yes, sir. And we have the Call of Fame, Call of Shame, the call out segment in a little bit. And I am confident that my man Steven here is going to have some interesting Call of Shames. Because that's what he likes to do.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, I think I kind of want to get right into the swing of things on the most recent game that happened. We're talking about Sunday Night Football between the Detroit Lions and the Houston Texans. And I want you to take this one away first.
I don't even know necessarily where to begin with this. The Texans' offense is bad.
It's real bad.
It's so bad that it makes bad teams look like good teams. I don't know how else to.
Hey, they're so bad that they made the Carolina Panthers look like a playoff team.
Yeah. So Jared Goff threw, I believe, 5 interceptions.
Five.
Well, that's 1,
Two.
2, 3,
Four.
4, 6. Oh, sorry, 5. I missed a number. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions in this game.
So the Houston Texans won then, right?
No,
They didn't.
No.
No.
The Lions won. I don't know where to even.
Hey, so
begin.
Real quick, I want to point this out. Okay, the Detroit Lions did win this, and Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions. You know that he is the first quarterback since Matt Ryan in 2022 or 2012. Sorry, 2012. Matt Ryan versus the Cardinals to throw 5 interceptions and win the ball game.
That's astonishing. I mean,
this
and it's really because the Texans' offense is so bad. Any other team,
yeah, they couldn't get the run game going.
Probably would have dominated the Lions. I mean, this just yeah.
Man.
Well, I mean, Joe Mixon had a good couple plays, and then it seems like they just went away from it. You know.
Well, from what I saw, he did not have a game. So as a team, the Houston Texans ran the ball 28 times for 56 yards and a touchdown. Of that, Joe Mixon had 25 carries for 46 yards and a touchdown. So he had a 1.8 average.
He also had 2 receptions for 44 yards. So yeah, I mean, not great running the ball, but also, you know,
CJ Stroud is getting sacked a lot. You know, he's been sacked a lot. He could honestly break David Carr's record of being sacked the most.
Yeah, and then I think Laramie Tunsil went down last night with an injury.
Oh.
So it's not going to get any better for that Texans offense. They don't have their playmakers. It was nice that John Mechie finally got his first NFL touchdown last night. So kudos for that. But outside of a couple just, good plays, they really couldn't get anything going. And I mean, kudos to that Texans defense for, hanging in there as long as they did, because most teams, that's a lot of time on the field. Like, to get 5 interceptions.
Right. And not have anything to show for it. And the sad part is if I'm looking at this correctly, the Houston Texans didn't score at all in the second half, guys. So they were up 23-7 at halftime. 23-7 at halftime. They do not manage to score in the second half. You cannot win ball games like that. When you have a lead, you need to be full throttle And because even the great teams, it's not over until that final whistle blows. So they let Detroit come back in, And Jared Goff had, he had more interceptions in this game than he had all season combined. Okay. He didn't have a good game at all. 15 to 30, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. The run game wasn't there for Detroit. 32 carries as a team for 105 yards and a touchdown. It's just not. It wasn't there. It wasn't there. But the Lions.
And I think what they did in that second half, yeah.
They're a great team.
Yeah, and what they came out in the first half and tried, running with Jamar Gibbs, and I'm glad they realized in the second half, hey, let's give Montgomery that chance, and it kind of panned out a little bit better for him in the run game.
Which is actually crazy because Jahmyr Gibbs actually had a better stat line. He had 19 carries for 71 yards versus Montgomery's 12 for 32. Montgomery did have a touchdown, though. But, great teams find ways to win games. And we're going to have another one that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But great teams find a way to win. Jared Goff played like crap. He had the worst game all season. And yet the Detroit Lions somehow motor up, mount up, rally up. It's us versus the world. And they got the job done, and they came out with the win. So,
yeah, and kudos to Jake Bates. I mean, he was laying bricks. He was a bricklayer at the beginning of the offseason. Came in and kicked the game-winning field goal, and I mean, it barely made it. When it first came off the line and off his foot, I was like, this dumb son of a gun just missed this ball, just missed this kick, and we're going to overtime. And then it slowly curved back, and I mean, it was probably, one more inch to the right, not even an inch really, probably a quarter of an inch to the left, and it would have hit that left upright and bounced off. So kudos to him for giving me heart palpitations.
Yeah, this wasn't a good, this wasn't a pretty win for the Lions, but it was a win, and that's all that matters. And great teams will find a way to win. That's what the Detroit Lions did here. Great team, finding a way to win on the road. Yep. So really interesting. The year that D'Amico Ryans got drafted by the Texans, Dan Campbell joined the Lions at tight end. And now,
really?
Yeah, and then Dan Campbell
coaching for the Yep.
So it was like a full circle in Detroit. Hey, they're 8-1 for the first time since 1954. Holy crap.
And I'm going to say this for people. A lot of people are going to say, Detroit is not the best team in the NFL still. They are still by far and ahead the best team in the NFL. There's nobody close at the moment. They had one bad game. Calm your tits.
Yeah. 8-1. I mean, and they could have easily been 9-0. So
yeah.
Hey, Detroit, good job. You found a way to win an ugly game, and that's what the NFL is about. Is like the great teams find a way to win these ugly games where nothing is going right. The passing game isn't working, the run game isn't working, but yet somehow, some way, you find a way to win. You find a way to win on the road, and good job, Detroit Lions. So I'm happy. Go Detroit.
Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna run through a few of them, and then we have a few more that we want to kind of do a deeper dive into. So, let's see. Hey, Steven just deserves some kudos, huh? He called it. He said the New Orleans Saints would come out and play harder because Darren Rizzi, the interim coach, players tend to play a little bit harder for the interim. He said that they would beat the Falcons, and holy crap, they beat the Falcons. Good job. Good call.
Yeah, yeah. It had to go right for New Orleans at some point, and nobody plays harder than when they have an interim head coach.
Did you hear how Darren Rizzi's day started yesterday?
No.
So he gets to to the stadium. He gets to the head coach's office. He has to go to the bathroom. He clogged the toilet.
Oh God.
And he goes, he goes, I'm an honest man. I'm a little too honest at times. And he goes, my day started by I clogged the toilet. And he goes, man, this is gonna be a really crappy day, pun intended. So he had a crappy day to start, not a crappy finish. And if you see him on the sideline, he's fired up. I mean, he kind of reminds me, like, he has that personality type, almost like Dan Campbell. And so maybe this is what the Saints need to get the season turned around. They beat the Falcons 20-17. So, but yeah, good job on your hot take. I like that.
Thank you.
Chargers, they're just kind of quietly doing things and winning ball games. They're now 6-3. So they beat the Titans 27-17 yesterday. Pretty solid run game. Gus Edwards came back, so that bolsters that run game and helps take off even more pressure off of Justin Herbert. So,
yep. I mean, just a good win. And I mean, it was expected, but still, kudos.
It is. I mean, nothing. I mean, yeah. I mean, we can sit here and be like, yeah, this team is gonna win, but really, I mean, anything can happen.
Yep.
Anything can happen. So, in the game that got the whole NFL world started yesterday was over in Germany. Overall, it was a decent game. It was a close game. Panthers gets the win, 20-17. Maybe the Giants should just stay over in Germany. Maybe they shouldn't be allowed back in the NFL. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this Daniel Jones looked bad. I mean, he looks so lost at times in this game.
Yeah. And on the flip side, kudos to Bryce Young. He has now won back-to-back games for the first time in his NFL career. I mean, I know he's still a young player, but hey, he's finally won back-to-back games for the first time in his career. And maybe this is the spark that the Panthers needed. They just signed Chuba Hubbard to a 4-year contract extension. Then he came out and had himself a game. And, I sat here on Friday and was like, well, how are the Panthers going to win? They traded Dante Johnson and they traded Jonathan Mingo. And that offense, I mean, I know it was against the Giants, but the Giants kind of have a good pass rush. And, Bryce Young didn't have a stellar game. He didn't light up the scoreboard, but he did exactly what the coach needed him to do, and they won. So,
yeah. Yeah, kudos to Bryce for really taking his lumps this season.
Hey, and now the coaches came out and said, like, hey, we believe in you and you're going to be the quarterback. And so maybe this is exactly what Bryce needed. He needed to sit down for a minute behind the veteran because he got thrown into the Lions then last year. And maybe this is what he needed. He sat behind Andy Dalton for a couple of weeks, and now he's like, okay, now I know how to hold myself. Now I know how to command myself in a huddle, and we'll have to see if they can keep it going. But, well, I really feel that the Jags could have won this one if it wasn't for a bonehead play. They lose to the Vikings 12-7. They have the Vikings stopped. They're on third down. It's fourth down. They're going to get the ball back. They're going to get the ball back with the chance to take the lead. And one of the defensive guys had to go out and be stupid after the whistle was blown and get into a pushing match and a shoving match and all this. And he got a personal foul. Vikings kept the ball and was able to take a knee and to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, and this kind of sums up the Jags season. They just find remarkable ways to lose.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
I mean, and And honestly, it falls on Doug Peterson. You know,
No, I mean, it starts with the head coach. You're absolutely right.
get your players under control, bro. Stop being a let me find the words to express this the right way.
A bad
Um,
coach?
so well, one, yeah, stop being a bad coach. Two, start acting like a coach and less like a friend.
Oh, yeah. He does kind of have that I want to be your friend type mentality. And, you know, in the NFL, there's a time for it, and then there's definitely not a time for it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you know, the Bills. Bills, you know, they haven't won a game in Indianapolis since 1998. And Buffalo partied like it was 1999 because they got the win in Indy.
Yeah, I mean,
Joe Flacco, he kind of started the day off not so good.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
It was bad. It was bad.
it was super bad. And I thought maybe Indianapolis would, kind of keep it close, make it a decent game, but really, it Bills had their way with them. It kind of felt like.
Oh yeah, they absolutely did. They had their way with them. Well, okay. I don't know if you're ready for your to get fired up yet or not, or if I need to run through one more of these and then we'll get you fired up.
Let's get through all the the games I don't really want to talk about, and then
Okay.
let's start out with when we get to that moment. Let's start out with the Jets Cardinals game.
Okay. Okay.
Because I got some stuff to say.
Okay. So the Steelers and Commanders, you know, and across the board, guys, you know, in our week pick'em, us, you know, and a listener, we all chose the Commanders in this one. And I'm sorry, I haven't really been saying like, you know, who picked who, but you know, us and the listener, we're all in agreement on this one that we thought the Commanders would come out and win, and the Steelers, they found a way to win, 28-27. Russell Wilson's 3-0 as a starter in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean Russell Wilson is kind of looking like the old Russell Wilson that
he's looking like
from
the
his early
Seattle.
Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the Seahawks days.
Yeah.
This was actually a really good game.
It was.
Russell just outplayed the rookie in some spots, and that comes with experience. So, this isn't an indication of the Commanders being bad. The Steelers are actually a really good team this year, and their offense has really stepped up, made that next level. Commanders will get it right. They still are definitely in the lead in the NFC East.
You know, I talked about a bonehead play in the Jags game, and it was because this player for the Commanders, you know, Russell Wilson's like, and Russell Wilson's a vet. You know, he has that cadence that he can get people to jump off sides. Zerhan Newton, the rookie nose tackle, defensive tackle for the Commanders. Listen, all you got to do is not jump. That's all Russell Wilson, because it was 4th down. They were about to get the ball back and, potentially kick the game-winning field goal. All you have to do is just sit there because he's not hiking the ball. They're not running a play. It was literally, and I mean, Russell Wilson barely even got into his snap count, his cadence, and Zerhan Newton jumps, completely offsides, and it touches the center. It's a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down, and the Steelers were able to kneel the ball and win the ball game. So,
yep.
Jaden Daniels, you're still a baller. Still love you. Still think that you're great. Still think that you're, even though the Eagles took the lead in the division, I still think that the Commanders are a playoff team, and I would like to see them. I'd like to see Lions versus Commanders NFC Championship. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Was Pats Bears one that you wanted to talk about, or?
Kinda, yeah, a little bit, but It was more so the Bears part of it. We can go ahead and talk about it, though. We can get me fired up here.
Okay. So the New England Patriots took on the Bears, and I just want to point out that I was the only one between myself, Steven, and the listener that picked the Patriots on this one. I picked the Pats, and they won 19-3. They won 19-3, guys. It is terrible. The Bears are not playing very well, and offensively they look bad. They look lost, and they went out and got offensive coordinator Shane Waldron for Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was supposed to be what the Bears needed. And I talked about this a little bit on Friday. They look like the exact same Bears last year with Justin Fields. So, what's your take, bud?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Caleb Williams at this point, in my eyes, and Tim probably is going to disagree with this, he is in every essence of the word a bust, He's got weapons. He's got Keenan Allen. He's got Rome Odunze. He's got, who else? Darnell Mooney?
No,
or DJ Moore?
He's got DJ Moore. Mooney plays for the Falcons.
DJ Moore. He's got Cole Kmet at tight end. He's got
Swift.
Swift at running back. He has regressed pretty much every game this season. He had one good game, but he just looks lost. He and out of all the rookie QBs, he has arguably the best weapons, and he is getting outplayed by Jaden Daniels, who has, Terry McLaurin and a running back.
And Zach Ertz.
Zach Ertz. Not as many weapons. And worst of all, he's getting outplayed by Drake May, who has wide receivers that are all number 3 wide receivers.
That is
the best thing going for the Patriots is their tight end Hunter Henry. How are you getting outplayed by somebody that only has Hunter Henry to throw to?
Well, and this isn't even close in this game, guys. I mean, it's not like it was like a 1917 ball game or a 1916 ball game where, Caleb and the offense went down and put up some points. They scored 3. They scored 3 points in this one, guys. And Caleb was supposed to be the savior. He was supposed to be what the Bears needed to turn the franchise around. And, in the beginning, we were all fooled. We got tricked in the beginning, guys. Caleb and everybody played decent games and they were winning. Since then, not so much, guys. They haven't scored, and I know that it's only kind of the middle of November, and so it's only been 2 weeks in November. They haven't scored since middle of October, guys. They haven't scored a touchdown since middle of October. So
yeah, I mean,
this Bears offense, and Shane Waldron, he was supposed to be the offense coordinator that Caleb needed to be able to handle life in the NFL and to be successful. And this year, I'm not sure what's going on, but maybe it's the coach, maybe it's Eberflus.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's an offensive scheme problem. I don't think it's a coach problem. I think it is a Caleb Williams problem. I mean, he just looks so lost in an NFL offense, He's missing guys that are wide open. He's not completing his reads. You can only coach a kid so much and tell him how to do it so much before he finally has to execute, And I think that's what it's coming down to is Caleb Williams is not seeing the field, Maybe his head just got too big for his britches or something, But arguably, this is how most USC quarterbacks play, They come to the NFL, they look real good at USC. They're great quarterbacks. And then they get to the NFL and they look lost. They look confused. They can't read defenses. They can't, hit wide open receivers. There's just, at some point, you got to stop blaming the coaches and start putting the blame on the player because no matter how much a coach coached a kid, if the kid's just not getting it, he's just not getting it. And I think that's what's going on right now is Caleb Williams just can't hack it in the NFL. And I said it I said it in the first game, the first week of the season when he had 95 pass yards, and he came out and said, all that matters is we won. And I think I texted you, and I was like, hey, yeah, they won, but if I had 95 pass yards, I wouldn't be okay with that. Like, if I'm a first overall pick, I want to ball out. I want to do good. And at this point, like, I'd almost rather have Spencer Rattler over Caleb Williams to build a team around.
Wow.
Like, that's just how little faith I have in Caleb Williams. And I didn't think he should have been the first overall pick in the draft. I knew he was going to be.
That's a hot take on a Monday. Woo!
Yeah, he's just not good. Like, and there's no way to sugarcoat that, I know I get this label for being, harsh, blunt, whatever, I'm speaking facts. I'm speaking reality.
All right.
And the reality of the situation is Caleb Williams is not a good NFL quarterback.
Well, there you have it. Caleb Williams, you better step it up, bud, because my man Steven here has already done called you out, and we haven't even made the call-out segment yet. So, whew. He's fired up on a Monday, guys. He is fired up.
I was sick all last week. I got some catching up to do.
I was gonna say, he wasn't able to be with us for most of last week, so he's got a lot to catch up on. So, Caleb, Bears, I don't know. You guys got to figure this out because it's actually kind of embarrassing to watch because I rooted for Caleb. I was like, hey, Caleb's a good quarterback. He's not like most Bears that gets drafted by the Bears, and now. He's actually kind of making me look like I'm wrong. So,
well, and even when we were doing our fantasy draft this year, our rookie draft, I had the second overall pick, and the guy before me picked somebody else, and I was like, hey, do I take Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, blah blah blah? Like, I don't have faith in Caleb, and I was even questioning it then.
Yeah.
And then I was texting you, and you're like, well, I feel like take Caleb Williams in this situation. Because he has the better weapons, and so this isn't something that just all of a sudden I've thought about it. It's been brewing since before the season even started, and Tim can attest to that.
He did. All right, well we're gonna keep the momentum going, and we're gonna keep this fire train going. Jets Cardinals. It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. Aaron Rodgers, we all picked you. Us, and the listener, we were all in agreement here. I'm sure most of America was even on board with you guys this week. You couldn't give me a touchdown? You couldn't give me a touchdown against Cardinals? You lose 31-6. And I get it. You had to go cross country, but that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse for me.
No.
You got Garrett Wilson. You got Devontae Adams. You got Braylon Allen and Breece Hall. You have a solid defense that allowed 31 points. By the way.
But no. And this is going to highlight how much Robert Saleh was not the problem. They went from Robert Saleh, a defensive-minded head coach, to another defensive-minded head coach, and the defense regressed. They went backwards. They have played worse since Robert Saleh has left the team.
They have. You're absolutely right.
The offense is unimaginative. Aaron Rodgers is off in la-la land wanting to blame everybody else but himself.
Okay.
Start taking some freaking accountability, dude.
Aaron Rodgers was 22 of 35 for 151 yards. No touchdowns. Meanwhile, the run game, Breece Hall, stud running back, Braylon Allen, a stud, a pretty good rookie running back. Between the two of them, 17 carries, 79 yards, no touchdowns. No touchdowns.
Yeah. It's unimaginative football. And, I mean, But who are you blaming now? Nathaniel Hackett's not the problem. He's not the one calling plays anymore.
Garrett Wilson had 5 catches, 41 yards. Devontae Adams, 6 for 31. So your top 2 playmakers can't even get them the ball.
Yeah.
But also,
this Siemens.
On the flip side of this, I do want to go ahead and give credit where credit is due. Mr. Kyler Murray, he had himself a pretty good game. All right, he played almost a perfect game. I actually have notes on this one somewhere. Yes. So he went 22 of 24 for 266 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Cardinals rushed for 147 yards and 3 touchdowns. They got the rookie Trey Benson involved. 10 carries, 62 yards, 2 catches, 25 yards. Not a stellar game, but they found a way to get the rookie involved, and that's going to take pressure off of James Conner. I don't know. I thought the Jets was going to win this one, guys. I did, but the Jets offense continues to struggle.
Yeah, and there's, and I'm going to use this example. I had orientation 2 weeks ago for my new job. There was actually a Jets fan in my orientation, and we got to talking football. I was like, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers? And he's like, bro, I wish we never traded for him.
What's his name?
He's like, the Jets fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I don't remember.
Oh.
I spent all of 4 hours with the dude. Like, I didn't remember his name.
I was gonna call him out and be like, hey, you should probably pick a different team.
No, he openly admitted, he's like, I haven't even watched the Jets play this year, outside of a couple games, and they looked absolutely terrible. But when you got your fans saying, hey, I wish we never would have traded for this player, like, it's just, it's astonishing. And now they got Devontae Adams, the 1-year rental. I mean, maybe he comes back next year, not at the price tag that he's going to be at, but Aaron Rodgers probably not going to play after this season. If he does, I'd be amazed. But this falls on Aaron Rodgers' shoulders because he got everything he wanted. He got the players he wanted. He got his coach fired. And he could sit there and say all day, oh, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I was just as shocked. No, come on. I'm not stupid. We're not stupid. You're just a bad quarterback. You're washed up. Father Time has caught up with you. Just admit it. It's okay. It's okay.
I just want to know. What I want to know right now is, hey, Aaron Rodgers, are you willing to admit that the Jets are not making the playoffs this year yet? Are we to that point? Because we are. We knew it a few weeks ago. But are you ready to come to those terms that this didn't pan out for you the way that you thought it was going to? You came back from the Achilles. You thought you could be Mr. Hero and put on a cape and, all this. And it hasn't, okay? It hasn't. The offense has struggled. It didn't matter who the play caller is. Like you said, ever since they fired Robert Saleh, the defense just keeps allowing more and more points, it seems like. Robert Saleh wasn't the problem. And kudos to you for getting rid of the guy that wasn't the problem. Kudos to you for being able to blame somebody else like you always do. So it's not a good look for Jets. It's not, and Jets fans, I'm sorry. I hear that there are teams out there that have an application you could fill out if you want to become a fan, and all you got to do is for the reason that you want to become their fan is just circle I'm a Jets fan, and they'll automatically accept you. So they'll automatically accept you because you're a Jets fan. You can pick a winning team. You can be on the Chiefs or the Broncos, the Chargers, the Commanders, the Steelers.
I'd rather be a Panthers fan at this point than a Jets fan.
I'd rather be a Panthers fan than a Giants or a Jets fan combined. How about that?
Yeah.
So, Jets are struggling. And, are we Are we ready to do this Call of Fame segment? Because I feel like you might have a worthy candidate in that category.
I've got.
You got some?
I got a call of shame.
Well, let's start out with the call out where we call you out, whether it's Call of Fame, good, Call of Shame, bad. Find out where you stand. And I'd like to start out with a Call of Fame. Justin Herbert, 0.4% interceptions per pass attempt. Only player to have a better ratio is Aaron Rodgers in 2018, where he set an NFL record of 0.3%. So, Justin Herbert, good job, man. You know, you're not turning the ball over. You're protecting the ball, relying on that run game, and you're winning ball games. So, good job, Mr. Justin Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert played really, really well this season. I mean, he's played well every year, but, it seems like he's definitely taken a step in the right direction with old Jim Harbaugh at the helms.
Well, and he has, because Jim Harbaugh is coming in and he wants to run the ball, he wants to be physical, which says, hey, Justin Herbert, we know you're a superstar, we know you're a playmaker, but we don't need the ball in your hands every play like it had to be in recent years. Also, I want to point out that big O 6'6" Justin Herbert laid the juke moves on those Tennessee defenders yesterday, juked them out of their shoes, broke some ankles. Wow, that was a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot of fun to watch. A big O 6'6" quarterback doing some juke moves. Well, it wouldn't be a call out segment without a call of shame, and I've got one. I've got one that I'd like to go ahead and start with, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I am calling Mr. Caleb Williams out. Call of shame, baby. Caleb Williams in his last 3 games has a 50.5% completion ratio, 0 touchdowns. He's been sacked 18 times. Bears have gone 23 consecutive drives without a touchdown. You have to do better. You have to. Your team needs you to do better, and you don't have a touchdown in the last 3 games? Come on now. What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, just yeah, and I hate to see it, but I called it. I don't know how else to talk about Caleb Williams anymore. Do you have any other?
I have one more.
Go ahead.
I have one more. Call of shame. I'm on a roll today. I don't normally do the call of shame side. I tend to do the call of fame side. But Mr. Daniel Jones has now went 57 consecutive games with less than 3 touchdowns.
That's crazy.
Your team ain't winning if you ain't scoring, bud.
That's absolutely.
It is actually by far the
active
longest streak of that caliber. 57 consecutive games with less than 3 touchdowns.
Wow. All right. Are you done with all your call of shames?
Well, yes, kind of, because I'm pretty sure that we're gonna have similar ones coming up. So.
Okay. Well, I've only really got 2, but they revolve around the same team.
Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah.
Mine too.
Okay. So, first and foremost, I would like to call out CeeDee Lamb. You're an NFL wide receiver. I don't care how bad the sun is hitting you in the face. Wear a frickin' visor. They make them for a reason. It's never been an issue before. Nobody's ever commented on it before until you dropped a touchdown pass. Just do better. Just admit, hey, I dropped a pass. Stuff happens. Don't make excuses. My second call of shame, Mr. Jerry Jones.
Well, hold on here. Hold on.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Because it has been an issue. It's just people have said it, but they're not the star caliber that CeeDee Lamb is. CeeDee Lamb says it and it's like, oh, all of a sudden it's an issue. No, it's always been an issue. It's just no one's ever really taken like some of them other wide receivers seriously. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I saw like a backwards angle like from a fan was recording, and even that fan on the video couldn't see the ball. So I mean, yeah, he is an NFL player and he does need to do better. But I am going to say that Jerry Jones should have put some freaking curtains on the freaking windows, man. And I'm actually going to call him out for what he said. Okay? And this is a direct quote. Okay? I am direct quoting Jerry Senile Jones's ass. By the way, we know where the sun is going to be when we decide to flip the coin or not. Jerry Jones on the sun impacting play at AT&T Stadium. After being asked, why not put curtains over the windows? Well, let's just tear the damn stadium down, build another one. You kidding me? And that's what he said. Come on, Jerry Jones. Like, it would not hurt you to put a little curtains on the windows or put some kind of reflection to where it reflects the sun outward instead of inward. So, yeah, you're making my call-out segment, bud, because you're the owner, and you're too often Jerry Jones land to realize that all you're doing is hurting the team instead of helping the team. You should have sold the team probably 10 years ago, but, I gotta be the best owner that the Cowboys has ever had. I bet he's probably purposely trying to sabotage the Cowboys, and so that he can sell it and just let his ego go even bigger and be like, I'm the best Cowboy owner ever. I bet that's what Jerry Jones is like. He seems like that kind of person.
Oh, well, speaking of Jerry Jones, he came out yesterday and said that he has no interest in firing Mike McCarthy, even though Mike McCarthy is a horrible head coach. Everybody could see it, but Jerry Jones, evidently.
I'm going to tell you this. Did you not hear what Micah Parsons said?
No.
He literally came out and said that he doesn't care if Mike McCarthy stays or goes. He can go for all he cares.
Wow. And that speaks volumes to how bad of a head coach you really are.
Right.
And this is the big one to me. Jerry also came out. Somebody asked him about them losing to the Eagles without Dak Prescott, and Jerry Jones, and I quote, said, "We've won 3 games with Dak, so I'm just saying we weren't playing well with Dak." And while you may be right, that's your $60 million quarterback, Mr. Jerry Jones. You paid him to be a star when he wasn't. So why don't you just have his back a little bit, Why don't you just, hey, maybe if Dak was in the game.
Speaking of Dak, I mean, he has that torn hamstring, okay? Probably season ending, and now he's like wanting to get another opinion. Like, how many opinions do you need, bud?
Well, and from everything I read, like the muscle actually tore completely off the bone. Like, there'd be no way for that to heal.
Well, he sure looked like he was able to move pretty good yesterday when somebody about hit him on the sideline, and he was able to jump out of the way and get out of the way in time.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't see that. This is not a game I really paid attention to.
I'm not saying that he's faking an injury, because I really do believe that he's hurt. But I'm just saying, like, and some mobility over there on that sideline, avoiding a defender in your face. So,
yeah, I mean,
Cowboys. I mean, come on, Jerry Jones, sell the team, make all Cowboy fans happy. I know there's a couple of listeners, to our show that they are Cowboy fans, and I feel bad for them. Guys, once again, you can go to another team. I'm sure, like, if you circle, I'm a Cowboys fan, they'll be like, oh, enough said. Come on board. Come to a winning program. We'll show you what a good owner's like. Because, Jerry Jones, as long as Jerry Jones is the owner and acting general manager, the Cowboys are going to suck. So they're probably going to suck the next 10 years or until, Stephen Jones convinces Jerry to sell the team or step down or something. But, I don't know what's got to happen. Jerry's definitely got to give up some general manager duty and let, coach and GM run the team, and he just sit up in that press box and just worry about his little podcast and his little talk shows and all this and that. But the players are starting to lose the locker room. The coach is starting to lose that locker room with them players. Micah Parsons coming out and saying Mike McCarthy can go or stay. He doesn't really. I mean, that's big.
This is a dysfunctional organization right now, and even yesterday during the game, they were showing video of the press box where the Cowboys suite with Steven and Jerry, and Jerry wasn't there. Jerry was found, and even the commentators were like, "Hey, like that's not necessarily a good look," and it's not. I mean, this is just crazy, man. Like how bad and dysfunctional this organization is. I mean, arguably they've taken the biggest step back out of any team. To go from as good as they were last year defensively and even offensively to this year is freaking mind blowing, to be honest.
Well, and I talked a little bit about this on Friday's show. Jerry Jones tends to be a little more patient than he should. He let Jason Garrett stick around probably 4 or 5 years longer than he really should have.
Yeah.
Because Jerry Jones is very much he likes that yes man, yes sir. He likes those yes man. He'll do whatever the owner says type. And that's what Mike McCarthy is, and that's why he's going to back Mike McCarthy, because Mike McCarthy stands in line, doesn't push back. This is why Bill Belichick would not work in Dallas, because Bill would want control over the team, and Bill's going to push back. And so really, as long as you're a yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, Jerry's going to keep you around until he starts getting severely, critiqued and like probably receive death threats. I'm sure that happens, unfortunately. But and then he's just like, oh, hey, we need to fire the coach. But he does. He keeps the coaches there a little too long. He won't give up general manager duties. So as long as he has control over the team, the Cowboys are going to suck. So just go ahead, Cowboy fans, buckle up. And just know that you probably got 5-10 more years of crappiness.
So what you're saying is Jerry Jones is the big Vince McMahon of the NFL world?
Yeah, he is. That's what he acts like. He just acts like he's the top dog, and you're going to do what I say, or you're going to get out.
Yep.
So, well, we got one more game that we really want to talk about. Because honestly, between the two of us, we could probably make this a 3-hour show on roasting the Dallas Cowboys and still have new material to talk about.
Yeah. We'd make it a 3-hour show, and then while the show was going on, Jerry Jones would put out something that we could continue to talk about.
I'm sure he's at a microphone as we are speaking right now. So, one more game that we want to talk about is the last call. Time for last call, guys. Broncos versus Chiefs. It was a good game. Okay.
Yeah, it was a really good game. A great division rivalry. And I got some stuff to say on this, so I'll let you go ahead and take first goes at it, and then you know what I'm going to talk about. So let's hear what you have to say about this game.
We're probably on the same page here. And I actually took the time to write mine down because I wanted to make sure I hit every single one of these keys. Okay, first up, we're going to start with Broncos made the ultimate mistake, guys. They made the ultimate mistake versus Patrick Mahomes. Oh my gosh, did they make a mistake? They went up double digits. That was their first mistake, guys. They got a like 11-point lead, I think it was. They went up 14-3 on the Chiefs. That was their first mistake. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry, but history shows you don't go up double digits versus Patrick Mahomes because he's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna play for real now. This was actually an ugly game for the Chiefs offense. I'm not going to lie. Mahomes didn't have a great game. He had a pretty subpar game. 266 yards passing and a touchdown. So, and the run game wasn't really there either. Only 57 yards on 19 carries. So, you sit here and you think about that, you're like, well, hey, Broncos probably did something. And they did. They made it a game. They made it a lot closer than I really thought. This is a game that me and Steven picked the Chiefs to win. Our listener did choose hot take of the week. His hot take of the week was the Broncos over the Chiefs. And I just didn't see that was going to happen. Chiefs, versus a rookie quarterback. I think a quarterback that's going to beat the Chiefs this year is going to be a veteran quarterback. But so the Chiefs offense wasn't good. Broncos did a good job though. Bo Nix had a solid game, 215 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Broncos had plenty of opportunities to win.
Yeah, and that defense was relentlessly coming after Mahomes. I think he got sacked 4 or 5 times in this game.
And that's very uncharacteristic of Pat Mahomes. Mahomes is usually really good at least extending the play or, getting out of the pocket, throwing the ball away. So the fact that he got sacked 4 times speaks volumes of that Broncos defense.
Yeah, and he came into this, Patrick did, with a little bit of a messed up ankle, and he kind of tweaked it in the first or second quarter. So it kind of snapped some of his mobility. Normally you see him fight through, but those Broncos rushers are just quick, and he really didn't have time to get out of the pocket and move around like he normally does. And I can't confirm. I have heard rumors that we may lose Xavier Worthy. He may have broke his arm during yesterday's game. So we'll have to see for an official. We'll probably get that report sometime today. Chiefs usually hold their press conference with Andy Reid around 1:00. That's just that there was a couple people at the game, and I'm obviously in a couple Chiefs fan pages, and there was a couple photos snapped that showed Xavier Worthy holding that arm, and there was a fan close enough to the Chiefs sideline that could hear some of the players talking about it. So we'll actually have to see to get official confirmation. But if we lost Xavier Worthy, that's going to be an issue.
That is going to be an issue. I actually did not hear news on that. I am actually shocked that I didn't get some kind of injury update.
I don't know whether it was just nobody picked up on it news cycle wise, or but there was multiple people in fan pages talking about it. So we'll see. Maybe it's nothing, but if it is, that's an issue.
And it could just be like one of those things that it was like a minor injury, so they didn't report it. So yeah, we'll definitely that's something that we'll monitor moving forward. Great teams always find a way to win, guys. We talked about it earlier in the segment with the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions, and they didn't really have a great run game, but they still managed to find a way to win on the road. Chiefs were at home, and great teams find a way to win. You can't give Pat Mahomes too many opportunities. Well, this time, they relied on their special teams. We don't ever talk special teams on the show. And we get to talk special teams because that's what won the game for Kansas City. Denver was doing it. Here we go, guys. Denver's got the ball. They're driving. They're gonna do it. They're gonna beat the Chiefs. And in the undefeated season, they line up for the game-winning field goal. Here we go. Here it is. Broncos win. Only to have it blocked. They had their field goal blocked. Chiefs win, improved to 9-0. And Will Lutz, it was kind of a longer kick, so he kind of had to try to do a more of a line drive instead of put a little air behind it because he didn't want the wind to catch it and knock some of the momentum, and velocity of the ball. And in doing so, I don't know which defender it was on the special teams.
Leo Chanel, our middle linebacker.
he got that big old paw up there and just blocked it, and ball game over.
Yeah. Then this was I was sitting in the living room watching the game with my mom and her boyfriend, and my mom kept saying that, well, this is over. This is the worst way to lose to a team that we should have beat. And I was like, hey, it's not over. It's not over. Now, mind you, I thought that they were going to kick the game-winning field goal. I didn't think we realistically had a chance to block it. And when they blocked it, I got up and I screamed.
Well,
I did.
And with these great teams, like, we're like, yeah, this is probably going to happen. But in the back of our minds, we always have to be like, well, it's not over until it's over. It's not over until that final whistle blows. And this is proof of that, guys. I mean, I'm sure all Denver fans were jumping for joy. They're like, yeah, we got this game-winning field goal at Arrowhead. And moments later they're like, oh no, it got blocked. I'm sure their emotions went from really high to really low in a matter of probably like 5 seconds. So you don't ever count the great teams out. And Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, as long as they're doing this together, it's really hard to ever count out the Chiefs. The Chiefs seem like they're a team that even if they were down by 14, 20 points in the fourth quarter, they would find a way to win this game. So don't ever count the great teams out, because anything will happen and they'll find a way, whether it be on special teams, whether it be a game-winning field goal, whether it be, Patrick Mahomes throwing a game-winning touchdown, or the running back, running it for a touchdown, or a game-sealing pick six, or whatever. They're going to find a way to win. They improved to 9-0. I mean, there's not a whole lot else to say that we can say about this, because, I mean, it was just a great game. And it was a good division rival game. And, hey, Broncos, don't hang your hat, Bo Nix, you played good. But, I mean, you're going against Pat Mahomes, and not too many people beat Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, and I think really the biggest thing I want to talk about from this game is the headlines that came out afterwards. The stuff people were saying. I realize when a team has success and has been as good as the Chiefs have been as of late with their Super Bowl wins, dominating the AFC West, dominating the AFC Championship game, there's going to come a certain amount of hate and displeasure with that. But I feel like this game of all games just took it a little too far. You had
right
fans going back, and there was at one point Pat Mahomes joking with the ref about he got sacked, and he's like, hey, you could warn me that guy's coming from the right side when I don't see him. It was sarcasm, but the amount of people were like, yep, that just confirms, the refs are on the Chiefs side. A lot of people say a lot of stuff to the refs. And what the refs do with that, nothing comes of it. Like, it's just players talking, joking, trying to keep spirits up, whatever it may be.
Well,
it's not a conspiracy theory.
And here's the thing, okay? If you remember, and I know you do, Tom Brady got a lot of the same calls, okay? He gets those calls that maybe other quarterbacks don't get, and everybody, myself included at one point, was like, oh, they just want the Patriots to win. And that happens because people get tired of seeing, and so then they got to find something to complain about, and they got to start blaming. Now, yes, does the refs make mistakes? Absolutely. There's you could argue that there's a holding on almost every on almost every play. I mean, and it just doesn't get called because, I mean, otherwise it would just turn into just a big old flag fest.
Yeah.
Also, those interior linemen have kind of learned how to maneuver and do tricks of the trade to get by with the holding. You only see it and notice it on the great teams when it happens for or against these great teams, because they make you pay. They go down and score a game-winning touchdown. They go down and kick the game-winning field goal. They get the game-sealing interception, the game-sealing sack. These great teams tend to find the way to
capitalize on the mistakes that you make.
Right. And, so then it just turns into, well, we got to blame the refs. We got to blame the refs. Well, they are human. They are going to make mistakes. And I'm sorry. It's real easy for us to, while it's on a camera, on a TV, a lot of fans probably watch on I would say the average TV size that people watch is probably 50 to 65 inches. Okay. Probably some probably even bigger than that. And we're seeing it kind of in a slowed down time. And that ref is seeing it in real time. Like, he literally has like the snap of a finger to decide, was that a holding or not a holding? Was that a PI or not a PI? It's obvious to us because we're not in that moment. When we watch a game, we're not in the moment. I'm sure if I was a ref, I bet I would miss calls too. Just like I bet Steven would miss calls, and all of you guys would miss calls. So, but the great teams are going to make you pay for it. And it shows here, the Chiefs, they're a great team. They win ball games. Yes, Patrick Mahomes probably does get a little bit more calls. If you look, Cam Newton didn't get a whole lot of calls back in the day because his team was losing ball games. Tom Brady.
Well, and I also think there is a level of flopping and acting.
Oh yeah.
To the quarter, because even in the case of Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes, I think a lot of the reasons Joe Burrow doesn't get some of the calls on late hits is because he doesn't flop.
Yeah,
he doesn't play it off as well. Yeah, and you can call it what you want. Like, oh, he shouldn't do that. He shouldn't flop. No, you should. You should do what you can to help your team win a game. And Tom Brady was good at it. He'd hit the ground and he'd just throw his hands up and I get it. It's part of the game. Josh Allen doesn't do it a whole lot, every once in a while, but I think that's the reason Pat gets a lot of calls is because he just sells it. Now there are some legit calls. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he flops every time. But on some of those questionable ones, like where it's like, oh yeah, was that really a passer? Probably not, but he sells it so well that you're like, oh shoot, like, yeah, I can see it.
Right. So there you have it, guys.
There was actually one other thing.
Okay.
That I have to get off my chest. The NFL is not scripted, guys. There is not some almighty NFL god out there, saying, hey, it'd be really fun this week is if we allowed the Chiefs to block the game-winning kick. The NFL, some of the stuff I see, the NFL is rigged and scripted. Like, no. First off, who has that much time on their hands to go through every week and just script out every game?
And not only that, but like, let's be real here. The amount of people that it would take to pay off, just think about it. Like, it would have to start at Roger Goodell. He would then have to pay off every single official. Then the players have to probably get some kind of cut, especially the ones that are losing. So
yeah, I just I see it and I chuckle, but
NFL players are not actors. Patrick Mahomes and some of the people can flop really good, but they're not great actors. There's no way that those emotions are acting. So yeah, guys, don't go down that rabbit hole. NFL's not script. It's not.
Yeah, this isn't WWE where the show's pre-planned and everything is scripted down to the wire. There's no game script. Now, NFL teams are not getting the script at the beginning of the season, and because let's be honest, if it was scripted, Aaron Rodgers would have some problems. he'd be having something to say about the Jets' horrible start.
Yeah,
Jerry Jones would be having something to say about the Cowboys and the script that was written for them right now. I mean, it's just it's so funny, but it keeps happening. Like, and I know previous players have come out and spoken out about it and made jokes about it. Like, yep, you know, the script said I had to break my leg the opening game of the season, and I found a way to do it. Like, and a lot of people, there's some people that took that seriously. Like, you know, like, oh, there's an ex-NFL running back talking about how the NFL scripted and he had to break his first game of the leg, the first game of the season. And it's like, guys, do you not see the sarcasm in his voice? Do you not hear it? Like, and it's just getting out of control at this point. Like, every week, it's like,
and it's because people fall for it, and they go down these rabbit holes on these conspiracy theories. So don't do it, guys. You know, Chiefs are a great team. They're winning ball games. They're finding ways to win, and the refs are not being paid off so that the Chiefs three-peat or anything like that. You know, because what happens if the Detroit Lions win? You know, so. Well, I think that's a wrap, bud. I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, that's about all I got to say this week today.
I think we had a good show. We got to make fun of Jerry Jones. That's always fun.
Yeah, got to make fun of Aaron Rodgers. That's always fun.
Caleb Williams. That's going to be kind of a new thing. But
yeah.
Well, guys, we appreciate it. Whether it's your first time listening or you're a returning viewer, if you like the episode, please like, subscribe. We're also on Spotify in the podcast section. Answer the call, COLL. Drop us a follow there. Tap on the bell. You guys have a good day. I'm Timmy.
And I'm Steven.
And we answered the call.